Okay, so I've booted up the game. Here we go. So the website says I have some viewers. My Xbox says I don't. All right. The Xbox lies. So, I guess, yeah, the very first screen. This brings back some memories. I remember feeling really proud about this, actually. Smart Glass was a great idea. I don't think it really exists anymore. In fact, my app says it's out of date. I'm actually looking at my phone now. But I was really proud. Like, we had a great partnership with Prima. It's a shame they're gone, but yeah, we just reached out to them and said, like, how would you feel if we made a Smart Glass app that players could view the strategy guide data in real time as they play, and then also have we couldn't do the cool swapping of like original standard definition textures versus like the high def remake textures. So we used the Smart Glass to allow players to like tap on things and see how it used to look versus how it looked now. So yeah, it was really nice. I really enjoyed that. It's a shame it doesn't exist anymore. Hey Chris, hey Pirani, hey Matt. Yeah, thanks for jumping in. This is all very new to me. Obviously, I did some of this stuff for interviews and stuff in the past, but wow, it's been a long time since I looked at this screen. It's funny, when I heard that it was on Games with Gold, I realised I hadn't got... This is like the only Fable game that I haven't got all the achievements for. I even have all the achievements for Fable the Journey. There you go, Chris. That's one for you. I think for a while I was like number 2 in the leaderboards behind Brundish for one of them anyway. Save game. Oh yeah, the book. Yeah, so for anyone, I'm definitely not getting a webcam, by the way. Like, imagine a guy, day 322 of isolation. It's I'm starting to feel like Tom Hanks in Castaway. Yeah, look, there you go. Last time I played this game, 18th of October 2014. So wow, it's a really long time ago actually. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, this book idea really came from Jenny Brewer, who was our fantastic concept artist who put all this together. We did a review of the front end of the game, and I remember just saying like I felt really bad. I think it's the only time I've really done it, but I said like, sorry Jenny, but I just don't like it. And I need to go away and think about like why I don't like it. I actually can't even remember what the front end was at that stage. And then I don't know how anyone else looks for inspiration, but that night I decided to watch a Disney film, and I picked just randomly. I just picked Robin Hood. I don't know if you remember, but Robin Hood opens with like a book opening, in like a lot of those old Disney like classic films, and it says like "Once Upon a Time," and I remember a very very old Project Ego design doc that Dean Carter, the real visionary behind the original Fable, had written, and it had something like "Once Upon a Time," and then it had been crossed through, and it said like "This is no fairy tale." And I thought that was just such a nice... It always stuck with me as like... Fable's always been this slight conflict of like it's a fairy tale, but it's raw and it's got this darkness, it's got this undertone. So anyway, yeah, long story short, this whole screen exists because of Robin Hood. So thank you Walt Disney. Yeah, the achievements, yeah. Oh yeah, cool. I wonder if any of this stuff still works. You've probably all come here to watch Fable Heroes and Fable the Journey. I'm assuming Fable the Journey won't even work on an Xbox One. You've got the credits, yeah, all the great people responsible for this. Yeah, and like when you think about it, like you go back to like the original Fable game, Big Blue Box. Yeah, we made sure we got special thanks in there for all the great team back in Godalming from back in the day. Tim Teddins, thank you, Craig Oman. He sneaked that credit in. We approved all the credits, and then hit the last second he put that in. So yeah, my namesake has a credit. Yeah, Phil Spencer, obviously. But what's interesting is Phil. Not only is he a real big supporter of Fable and of this game, I remember when he flew over to Guildford to spend some time with us and to understand what we were trying to achieve. But also, I think he was a producer on the original game. I remember him coming to visit back in sort of 2004, 2005. So there's a lot of the original Xbox team, like the Ken Lobs, the Kiki Wolfkills, the Shannon Loftus. Like, it seems like that whole team, that whole squad. Shout out if you ever see this. They were all involved in the original game. So yeah, very special. Anyway, let's jump into it, huh? We haven't come here just to hear me talk about credits or front end for this long. I'll probably talk about achievements at some point. I should have a quick look or remind myself, but there you go. Game director at Ubisoft once designed an achievement called Ass Creed. Yeah, probably shouldn't tell Eve about that one. Maybe my career will come to a quick halt. Right, what I'm going to do is I won't load any of these old saves. I'll create a new hero because it'll be fun to start from scratch. And for anyone who doesn't know, this game actually began life as a... what do I do here? I've actually forgotten how the interface even works. There you go. This game began life as a Creative Day project. I remember it must have been like Creative Day, God, I want to say like 2012. And it's something a few of us had been talking about, really, like reimagining the original game. I remember like Chris Cook and the guys, Adam Stone. We'd been talking about for such a long time about how good it would be to remind everyone why we all fell in love with Albion in the first place. And there were just a lot of people who didn't have creative projects and
the small town
didn't really have much to
unchanged by time,
much to help with, and
by the sword.
Gary Carr and I guess maybe Louise as well. They were really promoting
Here
this
lived a boy
sense that
and his family.
anyone who wasn't part of a Creative Day team just go to the canteen. I think it was like 1 p.m. in the day or something, and it's sort of like a market. Tell people what you're good at, what you're passionate about.
Sometimes he imagined himself as a noble knight,
grabbed like
or
10 or
a
15
powerful
people
wizard.
who didn't really have a project to be part of, and I think
other
in the end, I
times
think we
he
had about
dreamt he'd
40
be an
people working on this
evil
Creative Day project. And
But in
for anyone
all his
who,
dreams
like,
of
this isn't a shameless plug,
he
because
could
my
not
YouTube video
possibly
has, like,
imagine the power of the destiny of
on my
the
YouTube
blade
channel,
of
which maybe I'll link to in the comments. It actually has a hey Stu, I just see Stu.
Come on, wake up.
It actually has the video that we actually
Daydreaming again, were
created
you?
for Creative
Just like
Day,
your mother.
which
Mine
had so
always
many
wondered.
talented people behind.
Well,
And then we
let it wander off
presented
to
that
find
to
your sister,
Phil
will you?
Harrison and the team at Creative Day.
She's out playing by the
Yeah, it got
Barrowfields
approved,
gate.
which is really cool.
Remember,
So again, this
you
came
haven't
from
given her
a
a birthday
Creative Day
present
push,
yet.
and I think
Don't
projects are
tell me
always at
you've
their
got to get
strongest
her
when
one.
they come from
Well,
the team.
I'm not bailing you out
When
this
the
time,
team
son.
stand up and they say
I tell you
to
what,
the executives
I'll
and the
give you a
managers and the
gold piece for
directors,
each good
we're
deed you
passionate
do round
because we want to
Oakley.
make this game.
That should be
And I think
present.
you'd be
Now,
silly to
get
ever say
moving
no
and
to a
stay
team
out of trouble.
desperate to execute on a vision. And actually, someone reminded me watching this old video. We wanted to keep as many of the old videos as possible, and recently someone said like, "Oh, why didn't you keep the original video, the intro where it had like the camera floating around the guild chamber and stuff?" And we just couldn't get it to look right. And I know that people look at it and they go, "Oh wow, this is really cool and really interesting," but yeah, for me it just didn't hit the quality bar. Yeah, so I guess first things first, you gotta kick a chicken, right? It's been a very long time since I kicked a chicken.
I've lost Rosie.
Just while I talk to
I left her, and
the
I
little
can't
girl to find
remember
Rosie, I'll quickly
where.
read some of these comments because I know that's meant to be a thing. So yeah, I'm definitely not getting a webcam. Totally agree on the music. Shout out to Russell Shaw. Yeah, you're absolutely incredible, and I miss working with you. Yep, sorry for breaking the screen. Yeah, maybe I'll talk about stamps in a little bit. Hey everyone for joining in as well. Yep, awesome that you got to play Smart Glass as well. Yep, thanks for all the nice comments. Yep, Chris, yeah, loved what you guys did with that original. I wonder if, do you still have a build somewhere? If you do, please share it. Oh, and my game sound is a bit loud. God, God, I've got no idea how to adjust that. I apologise. We had 30 seconds in the chicken kicking sweepstake. Yeah, I hope no one put a bet on how long it would be before I kicked a chicken. You weren't going to win much money there. And hey Etem, I won't be able to speedrun as quick as you. I used to be able to. I can probably remember a few little tips and tricks. And funnily enough, this scene sticks out so much in my memory as a young tester. Like I think
I've never even
I found one
met
of my
this
old
woman. Who is she?
certificates
Look,
not so
son,
long ago.
keep your mouth shut about this, right?
It was October
My
2003
wife's home with
that I
our little
first
ones,
did
and
a
I'm
week
supposed to be
of
working.
work
But a
experience
man
at
should be
Lionhead.
entitled to do what he
And
likes.
this scene, for
Don't
some
you
reason,
tell you what,
just
if
reminds
you
me
keep
so
this
much of
little
that because
secret,
they had
I'll
everyone.
give you a gold piece.
Anyone who came in would play like the opening sequence in Oakville. And
Just don't
no, I'm
tell
not going
my
to do a bad
wife.
dude.
I can't let her find out about this.
And you know, this is pretty much the first thing you see because you just go around the corner and there they are. But yeah, funny times. We won't look at the water. The water hasn't aged all that great. And funnily enough, like there was an opportunity for us to do things that I think frustrated myself, and I can speak on behalf of all the test team. So for anyone who doesn't know, this mini-map in the corner, the reason why in the original game you can't ever remove it, like I've just removed it, so like I'll remove it for a second, is because we had one playtest in America where just someone got lost, and the solution to that was to permanently put the mini-map on screen, and we all hated it, like we hated what it did and everything else. So it was amazing, like 10 years later, to go back, and I still had that like annoyance of what we'd done 10 years earlier. It was like, right, we're making it so players can get rid of the mini-map if they want. So yeah, the game's full of these like fun anecdotes that me and the team have. Because of course we worked on Fable for such a long time. You just have all these memories of like decisions that were made and everything else. Thanks, Chris, for sharing the Creative Day trailer.
Warehouses might have stuff in them.
Ah, right.
Quick, unless you're too scared. Unless you're just a big blubbing girl. Come on.
Right. Let me turn down the audio. Didn't even think of that. Thank you. There you go. We'll try that. Let me know if that's better. And again, it was great that we worked with Russell Shaw on this. At the time, he was a contractor. And by the way, I'm not deliberately going evil. I'm just not used to talking while playing a video game. So I'm just going to do... If something's red and highlighted, I'm just going to kick it and hit it and see what happens. But yeah, like it was great to have Russ back and to, you know, have him balance the audio. I remember we went down to his studio in Godalming and I spent a few days like with the mix with Steve Brown and Eric and the team. So yeah, shout out to you guys because so much of Fable is all about the music. You really capture the spirit. Let's have a look. So yeah, now I can actually wait because he's going to come back. The Scouser. Oh, cool. Hey, Paul. Yeah, great to hear that you're a tester on Fable 3.
You've done me a big favour.
No way is Dean watching it. If that's actually you, Dean, I hope you're well and taking care. And yeah, thank you for inviting me on this wonderful journey that we had on this franchise because it's always very special. It's interesting. Like I think whenever I get together with Lionhead people, we always just, man, what a place! Like, I've never worked anywhere quite like it. It was.
What do you want? I'm just he was irritated. No, he won't give it. I told
amazing people, and like I've been very lucky to work at some wonderful game studios with fantastic people. But man, there was just something about Lionhead that's hard to put into words.
I'm sorry.
And I think it's also special because first job, first game, young, naive. Would say whatever came to mind without any holding yourself back. And Dean had to listen to all of that. There you go, the teddy bear. Not a AAA teddy. Or one of the ones that Andrzej Zamoyski would hide all over Albion, especially in Fable 2 and Fable 3. Alright, so where are we anyway?
Look, there's a little swine. I'm going after him.
Oh, there we go. He's coming after me.
Right, got you, you little I've heard reports that you've been doing
Yeah,
bad deeds.
again, if anyone remembers, this is the
extraction
Oakvale
of a
has the
person's
Easter egg
genitals.
where you get
That
the
sort of
Balverine
behaviour
guard.
is not if you
That was
were older, you'd be
Dave Smith, I
apprehended
think
and
tech
fined by
director,
the town
Media
guard.
Molecule,
You need to decide.
one night
I'll
grabbed me
leave
and he
it
was
at
like,
that
"Oh,
for
Ted, like, I
now.
want to put in this
But
Easter
think
egg."
about what I've said.
It was really late, honestly. This must have been like 11 or 12 p.m. And he's like, "Yeah, I want to put in this
Hello,
Easter egg,
lad.
but
I'm a trade.
like, I need
Some
someone to
little
test
girl I
it, and
saw
you've
said
got to
you have a
kill
sister.
like
And
1,400
you haven't got
Balverines.
her
Like, are you up for
present
testing
yet.
it?" He's like, "But if you say it works, we
You
won't
just
tell
so
anyone
happen
else."
guaranteed to put a
I was
smile.
like, "Yeah, sure." And I sat there for like hours,
I'm
and it
afraid
didn't
you
crash. It
seem to be
worked. It
short
worked
of
flawlessly.
funds, so just free. Remember, your
And for anyone who
father
hasn't
will give
tried, yeah,
money
you
if
can
he hears
later in the
good
game,
reports
obviously,
about
but you come
you.
back, kill like 1,400 guards or something crazy, and then the next guard who appears is a Balverine.
Oh, you quickly
So
give me.
oh, sorry,
Just free.
I'm
Remember, your
losing track of actually what I have to do. Found the teddy bear, right? There we go.
You found
Man, this whole
Rosie. Come on,
content
Rosie.
creation thing is tough, huh? Talking, reading comments, trying to complete a quest, talk to a guy, collect a teddy. Okay, right. Yeah, I know. Gotta go back to my old man. While I go back, let's have a look. There's the sole reason the Commandant in Fable 2 doesn't suck. I'm glad you remember that, Dean. Yeah, maybe another time I'll do a Fable 2. I think what was nice, again, like somewhere in the Fable credits is something about like the number of takeout meals for late night. You know, you could never put that in a game now because, of course, like crunch culture is rightfully being called out as something we need to be more conscious of as an industry. But I'll tell you what, like if you get a team like we had and a group, age group, passionate, excited about making something new and different. You don't even have to ask people necessarily to stay a bit later or put some extra time in because you just want to stay late and make the game the best it can be. And then yeah, when you get the review scores and you're hoping, you're crossing your fingers like, man, I hope this game is good. It can make it all worth it. So again, I remember people working late on the creative day demo. It's just like a passionate team, man. There's nothing better than people who really believe in the experience you're trying to make, even when times are
Hello,
hard.
little brother. I hope you haven't.
It's funny. Who would have thought Teresa,
Like
this
we did last year.
Dean? I know you're in the chat.
I'm
I don't know
sorry
if you
if I
ever
woke you up
imagined
last
that
It was another of those
this
dreams.
this young
I
girl,
was
the
standing in
character
this field
that you
when
and
something
Mark and the team created,
Don't
would ever
mind
go
what.
on to have
Never mind that, though.
the pivotal role
I'm
she
still
had, let
waiting for
alone
my
be
present.
voiced by Zoe Wanamaker. Like, I remember when we
knew
heard
you
that
were
Zoe
going to bring me
Wanamaker was going to do
chocolates.
the voice for
It's
Fable
just like
2.
my
It was just
dream.
like, what?
Come on, let's go home.
Crazy.
Mother will be back for my party
Yeah, really
any
good
minute
times.
now.
Right, let me have a quick look in here. No, I'm not going to obey. How's it feel looking back? Well, I guess what's interesting about Fable Anniversary is there's two eras, right? Weirdly for me, it was the first game I worked on at Lionhead, and then also the last, because I left after we finished Fable Anniversary. I just felt it was an opportunity to move on and try something different. So it's this cyclical nostalgia of two very different eras in my life. I'm sure it's the same for a lot of people who have played it as well. Like I imagine some of you in the chat, maybe you played this when you were like a kid, and then you played it as a teenager or an adult, or you played it without a family and then you played it with a family. It's interesting going back to a game. And funnily enough, tonight my plan after this is I'm going to play the shit out of Final Fantasy VII.
Evil had come
My
to
good friend
Oakvale.
Anjay has been working on
Bandits
that
wielding
for the
torches
last
and
few
steel,
years in
slaying
Japan
and
and Square
burning
Enix. It's
all
my
in their
favourite game of
path.
all time. And these are just incredible. Like Kareem,
Blood-red
Anthony,
flames lit the night
artist
as the
who
villagers
put these
screamed
together.
and
I've got one
begged for
framed.
mercy.
I know a lot
And
of the
soon,
team, they're all
their
signed
bodies filled the
by the whole
streets.
team and stuff. So a very special thing that really hangs on the wall as like a pride of place. Just so
Then the
good.
raiders reached the last house.
We were very lucky to have
where the
this kind of
boy
talent
and his family lived.
all in the same place.
It was then
I think that was the thing
they
about
had
Lionhead. Like,
slaughtered so
I always
many
felt
to
like a
find.
fraud. I still do to a large extent.
The
But,
father
like, I remember just
fought
like,
to
looking
protect his
around
kin,
the team
but he
and
was
just
no
being like,
warrior. and fell
all I know how to
wounded.
do is like play a video game, and I think I might have a cool idea every now and again.
bandits ripped
And
the
then you
house
see someone
apart,
like Kareem who will
but
just
could
do
not
something like
find the
this, and you're
boy.
like, man, I suck. I need to work harder and
Through
do better.
torture and threats, his mother and sister remained silent,
Yeah, really
and their furious
inspiring
attackers
studio.
took them both.
Which is better, original Jack voice or TLC voice? Oh man, that is that's controversial, isn't it? Because I changed
From the
it
nearby woods,
for this game.
the boy watched as all he knew was taken away.
I felt like
His whole life was crushed to ashes.
yeah, we needed to
He was
follow the lost
alone.
chapter. Now, I mean, Dean, that's a good question for you. What do you think of, of the original Jack voice or not? Yeah, and shout out to Angus. Again, Angus, artist by trade, but a wonderful idea creator. Yep, we definitely ate a lot of pizzas. Yeah, Fable made me fat as well. And you know what? I actually got even fatter on Fable Anniversary. Like the amount of hours we put in. I think what's weird is obviously I was in a bit of a different position. I was for anyone who doesn't know, I was a tester on the original Fable, and then was really trying to help guide and drive the remaster. And I felt so much more pressure, understandably, on the remaster because like obviously people like Dean and the team, the original vision holders weren't working on the remake. So you're like, wow, I've got to not let them down. I've got to try and see this game through their eyes and do their original work justice. Like, can you imagine like someone going to Picasso and saying, "Yeah, your painting is good, mate, but you know what? I'm not bad with a brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a few paintings." It'll look like that lady in that Italian museum. I don't know if anyone remembers that. Like, she took one of the paintings off the wall and like painted over it because she thought, "Oh, I could do a better job, or I need to update." That's the best metaphor I could ever give you for how I felt working on Fable Anniversary. So actually, I remember we grabbed Dean and we grabbed Simon Carter and I think like the Mike Wests and a number of the people who worked on the original game. Peter as well. I remember chatting to him at one of the E3s where we were showing this off because we just wanted people's blessing. You know, it's very tough. Like, yeah, taking someone else's work and then trying to put that little extra
Save your
lens
energy,
on it.
boy.
So,
It's not me you want to
and you know what? As a
might not
tester,
realise
I
it,
remember
but
this
over the course of your
cutscene
life,
never worked.
There's
That
nothing left
vomit
for you in Oakville.
part,
And
I
if you'd
swear to
stayed,
God, it didn't
you'd be
work
as
for
dead as
like
the rest of
18
them.
months, like my whole
Come with
tenure
me.
as a tester on Fable 1, and then like the final build, it just magically worked. It's just funny how you just remember these little anecdotes
My
of
name is Maze.
being
and I'm the head of the
being a
Guild
tester.
of
Another one
Heroes.
that stands out in
You must
memory
have
is
heard
there
of
was
it.
this great bug in
You'll
the Lost
find
Chapters
nowhere
where
safer in all
you get on the ship
Belgium,
with Briar Rose,
nor a better place to call
and
your home.
in the
And if it's
cutscene,
vengeance you
she's talking
want,
about we've got to get on the
you'll
ship,
need
we've
the
got to leave, blah
training
blah blah,
only we
and
can
the
offer.
bug was incredible, which was that the ship just sunk. Right there and then,
Here
it's just
we
sinking
are.
very, very slowly because
I'll
someone put like the
introduce you
wrong
to the
value in
Guildmaster.
somewhere.
He'll be your guide from
they're
now on.
just some amazing bugs. When you have an open world game like this, it's just ripe for bugs. And again, shout out to Jenny because when I was talking to her about what I wanted to do to the world map, I just wanted it to animate and have a bit more movement, but still preserve the sort of the beauty of the
I have a new
original
student
world
for
map.
you.
Like, it was a very
Put him in the
special
dorm
world map,
upstairs
right? So
with the girl.
she did a great job in like
You
just
don't look much like hero material to
ordaining
me.
it with like
But
these little
may as
flies,
well
the
what are you
wasp,
doing, I
and
suppose?
kind of trying to make
Well,
it feel
follow
like
me
the
then.
map was almost charting the player's story. Like, you get the apples at Orchard Farm and stuff, and just try and make it feel a bit more like. I always see game development as we're cartographers,
sharing
kind
this
of
room
building
with
the
Whisper,
map. Like, we're
one of
explorers
our
without a map
brightest
in a way, so we're
young
trying to build the map as we go,
She's playing
and that's
in the
why
woods
sometimes
right
it can
now,
be
but you'll
such a
meet
challenging
her.
process. And it
Well,
felt
now
like
you
this
should get some sleep.
this map was a
Your
way to
training
kind of show
starts
the
tomorrow.
player's journey through that as well. Yep, R.I.P. Brom. Yeah. Let's have a little look. Yeah, sorry, we did change Jack of Blade's voice. Oh, John Eckersley. John. What else is in here?
It's time to wake up. You
Trying to
must
catch
be
up
my
with some
roommate.
of these notes. I don't know how
Shorter
streamers
than
do
I
this and how they
expected.
play a video game
My
and
name's Whisper.
read. Yeah, shout out to the
I've been here
Sangoose.
for a month.
That was really good fun. I'll skip this just for a second. Hey, Whisper. I don't know if I can see it at this stage. Oh, wrong button. I don't know if I can see it at this stage in the game, but yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Peter used to talk about the frickin' sand goose like all the time. So how do I view the map? Can I even remember how to view the map? Oh, I can't see it yet. Okay, because I've got to play a bit more. But yeah, definitely remind me in the chat to come back to this. Oh yeah, right. I should talk about this, huh? Or maybe Dean, maybe you could talk about it. Like, we actually really wanted to bring this back for Fable Anniversary. For anyone who doesn't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dean, because it's a very old game design document I remember reading. This was going to be a leaderboard of players, like heroes, like people playing the game, and it got cut. And for Fable Anniversary, I really wanted to bring it back. And I think we ran into the same kind of problems, and scope, you run out of time, typical game dev challenges. But yeah, again, little anecdote for anyone. Maybe when we remake this again in 2024, then we'll revisit that and do it all again.
All right, lad.
Hey, Mr. Guildmaster.
See if you've any potential.
Been a while.
Get in the ring.
Okay. I can't even tell you how hard it is to be doing tutorials while playing the game, while reading this.
Not making much of an impact there, are you?
yeah. Sorry, Dean. I hope I'm not taking you to a dark place there with some of this stuff. Did you check under the couch yet? What else was there? Swinging sword. That was another one, and that was again the achievement in here was the swinging sword achievement, which was a play on Peter's singing sword. I don't even know why we didn't do a singing sword. Surely it's the easiest thing in the world, like an augment that sings every time you strike an enemy. Maybe we should have done that for the remaster. Now, I swear to God, like I don't know if Craig or Jim will join the chat at any point, but I'm pretty sure we finished an Xbox One build for this game. And we put it to one side as like, maybe we'll do it later, because we were all keen that Fable Legends would be like the first Fable like game on Xbox One. So we banked the build, and obviously I'd left, and then Craig left. I guess the line had closed, and then Craig left. So I don't even know what happened to it. Maybe we didn't finish it, but because for anyone who doesn't know, this game broke my heart for a second time when we released it on the Xbox 360. Because I remember I took the build home. I think it was Christmas. And I pretty much, over my Christmas, all I did was play Fable Anniversary. And I had it on a dev kit, so of course, like, the build is... God, I cannot hit these guys for shit. The build runs off a hard drive, right? So you copy it using the Xbox neighborhood and all that good stuff. Played it over Christmas. Man, the frame rate was great. No crashes. I thought, wow, we're off to a really promising opportunity here. Oh yeah, look. I think it's still upside down. I'll come back to that story. I'm pretty certain this scroll is upside down, and I asked them to leave it because it's a bug from the original game, and it always makes me smile. So, yeah, again, I'd love to see if there was ever a high-res texture, because I know our artists, they wrote the most filthy things on... Like, I swear to God, if we found the original source material of this, it's going to be utter filth. Someone would get fired for it. And they're probably lucky that you can't read it. But anyway, yeah, just to kind of rattle it off is like... well, anyway, yeah, I've probably said enough. I don't want to get fired. I don't want to upset anyone. That's definitely not the intent from this playthrough. I'm trying to think what else we did with this kind of screen. The thing is, I'm trying to remember the original, because of course it's been even longer since I played it. But yeah, anyway, we had some real technical issues when we launched this, and it was a real shame because it all was because of some security process with the disc, and it was something we weren't able to test for prior to the game releasing. So I think the game crashed like every 2 or 3 hours. I really hope it doesn't crash during this playthrough, because
the guild was now the boy's life.
But yeah, that's game dev, right? There's things that are out of your control and you can't predict, and you just hope
soon he had no thought other
players
than
are
training,
understanding that you
and
put your whole heart and soul into this stuff, and
every passing year,
no one sets
his
out to
days
make a
were
game
filled
that frustrates
with
or upsets
exercises.
anyone.
The nights with
Least of all
study in the
yourself.
library.
I'm trying to think if there's any
Finally,
little notes on
he was
this,
ready to become
this
a guild
cutscene.
apprentice. Just as Maze had foreseen,
Spoilers.
the real training
Maze,
was about
huh?
to begin.
What's his position in this story? He was great. What a
Get
great
out
character.
of bed, lazy boy. We were supposed to
And again,
meet
it was
the
fun
guildmaster
with,
on the other side of the river.
I remember actually.
But that was an hour
So
ago.
for anyone who doesn't know, we
better get
delayed
going.
Fable
Race you
Anniversary.
there.
I forget by how long. And actually, the irony is, I think deep down, I was quite happy because it went from being a 9-year anniversary game to a 10-year anniversary game, right? And let's be honest, an anniversary is 10 years or 5 years or something with like a number like that. So we had to delay, and I remember we had to chat to Phil, Spencer, and explain like the reasons for the delay, and like the game just wasn't coming together. Yeah, we were all working so hard, but you know sometimes that's just not enough. And this game is really technically complex because you've got the original Fable engine, which was super unique, and we never built any other games with it. And then we also took the Unreal Engine and kind of mushed them together.
Right again.
So yeah, we had to ask
You
for
can put
an
that
extension,
old
and
stick
of course,
away.
video games are
Remember
business,
training
and
with real weapons
there was
now.
an inherent cost
Get used to the
for
weight
that
of this
delay.
sword.
So we were just
Let's
asked
see
if we
you
could
can
think of a
whisper
way in
me.
which we could generate just a bit of extra revenue just to try and fill that gap. I remember Craig and Jim,
Let's see what you've
our
got,
art
farm
director, sat down and we said, like, wouldn't it be cool to bring some DLC to this game? Because A, players will be really happy with it. B, it's something like we've wanted to do. We were talking about it, you know, down the pub and everything else. And then ultimately we can make a bit of money from it, and
pay
it can fill a
attention.
little gap and
What I'm
whatever.
about
So
to
that all
teach
got
you
approved, which was great.
Will save your life one
And
day.
yeah, hopefully
life of a
for
hero
those
is
of
a
you
dangerous
who
one.
picked up the limited edition version or the day one, I think it was the day one version we called it. You enjoyed the extra DLC, and for those of you who bought some of the extra stuff, like again, we were trying to be faithful to like the original vision and the original style and everything else, but yeah, also offer something unique. And different. So it's funny, like you can have these interesting decisions that come from like a business or a financial perspective, but the end result is you get some really cool stuff that can make players really happy. So yeah, that was
Well
good.
done. Now let's
Cool,
see if
yeah, great to hear you
provide
liked
attack
the extra stuff.
and defense. Hello, Thunder. Come
Yeah, I
check
still
on your
try to
sister's
organise
progress, have
team
You could say that.
meetups and team drinks. Like
Whisper told me you've got a training with
every
some
Christmas,
farm
we've had a
boy.
Lionhead Christmas party,
Maze thinks the boy
which
has
is
great
cool.
potential.
I think we did a Fable reunion at the
Well,
10-year
why don't
mark,
we
and
see?
maybe at the
Whisper
5th. I think we did it at the
just work
15-year
on
mark
their
as well,
melee
which is
skills
nice.
now.
Obviously, it's a bit more
All
difficult.
right, children. Let's
We're all
see
so
who's
scattered,
got
and
most
of course,
their
with
training.
today's events, you
This'll
couldn't
be
do
a
it right
no
at this moment in
holds
time.
barred duel. Just
And
like
man,
your
Thunder
final
is a cool
melee
character,
test.
isn't he?
Prepare yourselves.
What an awesome character, and Whisper. Alright, so I'm just going to focus for a second. I might go quiet, because it would be really embarrassing if I lost to Whisper here. Okay, right. I still remember her sequence. Alright, come on. I know what you're going to do. Can I roll? Oh, no! I forgot how to roll. Oh, no, you are not going to beat
That's
me.
all
Yes,
wrong,
in
Whisper.
a public place.
You
Good.
need to practice more. Shame you couldn't see
Maze
me
is not a
fighting
traitor.
arena.
Get out of
You might have
town.
learned a thing or two.
And yes, yes,
Keep
Dean, the
drinking
game has some
if you
very
want to believe
phallic-looking
yourself one day.
objects in places,
I
doesn't
could
it?
have beaten him if
Ah,
you
my
hadn't
good friend
stopped us.
Richard. Yes, I know
We
you've
have
never
few
played
enough
Fable.
heroes as it is, without the two
Yeah.
of you tearing each other apart in training.
Brilliant.
Speaking of which, meet me as I make my way to the
F in the chat, yeah, F for,
When you're
F for
ready,
Whisper.
continue your lessons.
Oh, and about your melee performance.
Okay, can I
Very
reduce
good,
the
lad.
audio a little more?
Keep
Of course I
fighting
can.
like that and you'll go far.
This is where I need Russell Shaw in the chat to tell me the exact numbers to balance it. And again, I remember this silly things. We kept changing this text every week. Imagine being a tester and continue or repeat. The buttons keep swapping, the text keeps
Then meet
changing.
me by the archery
And I remember as a
range.
tester,
Continue
like, I'm
your
trying to do speed runs and stuff because I was sometimes the guy who had to create the save games that the dev team would then use to help them skip to their missions and that kind of stuff. And like it was like a constantly moving goalpost because I'm trying to speed through and I'm accidentally replaying stuff and it's like, guys, like you're making my life really difficult. It was just yeah, just these silly little anecdotes you just remember.
Let's continue our training with the bow.
from being part of testing. And the testing was great. We were so small. I remember, I think there was like 5 of us. And for a game as big as Fable, and to somehow ship with, you know, some bugs, let's say.
Make sure you
But
stay within
I remember the test team in Redmond, so at Microsoft, were called the Army. I think they called themselves the Testing Army. And we were, let's be honest, like the testing bunch at Lionhead were competitive. So even though I think we were about 10% of the size of the test team in Redmond, we made it our duty and our goal to log better and more bugs per day. And that was our kind of, it would be a good day as long as we were above that threshold. So there was a good bit of competitiveness. Oh yeah, the memory leak and the elastic band. Oh yeah, I'd completely forgotten about that. So like, I don't know why, there was one night where I just wondered what would happen if I used an elastic band to hold down on the analog stick so that I was constantly going between missions, because I noticed that when you go through a region gate, maybe I should come back to region gates actually, because it is funny that, hey look, there's just a gate there. It's great, it's so video gamey, I love it. I wondered what would happen, and I came in the next day and the game had crashed. I was like, yeah, this is great. And I sent the crash dump to I think Alex Dowswell, who I fondly refer to as Santa, and to Simon Carter, the tech director and one half of the Carter brothers. And I was like, guys, the game's crashed. And they're like, this is a memory leak we've been tracking for months, I think it was, or something like that. And they'd never been able to find a repro for it. So yeah, it turns out like an elastic band and a bit of faith that you could. I really enjoyed testing. I said it to someone today, like I found an exploit in something in the game I'm working at the moment today, and there's just something fun about it. It's like you've broken the system, you know, like the system is trying to do one thing. It feels like it's a little bit in competition with the with the programmers. I'm quite competitive. Bing testing is great, and honestly, if you're watching this and you don't work in video games, or you're thinking about video games, not only is testing a great way in, it's also a really important role that is all too frequently dismissed as a career path or as an opportunity for growth or anything like that. Like I rely on our test team for feedback, for quality, for design. Like it's just, you know, they're the first, they're the last barrier between the game you're trying to make before it gets into players' hands for real. And if you're ever thinking about getting into games, like I really encourage you, because you get a little look at what all of the different disciplines offer, and we've had testers become producers, exec producers in some instances. Chris Berry, a good friend of mine, is an effects artist. Myself, obviously, going into game design, a number of game designers. So it's a great way to. We've had artists as well, animators. So it's great. You get just this like whole view of the industry at large. So yeah, definitely chase your dreams if you're watching this, and because honestly, like if I can get a job in games, like anyone can. Just a bit of passion, and I think I won an award actually during Fable for biggest fanboy. I think the award was called like Jesus, it's just a bloody console. Because whenever we had like a party, there were always like some kind of. I think I won a box of Maltesers and a can of Fosters. Like if anything summarised working at Lionhead, winning a can of Fosters and a pack of Maltesers is enough. Great to see that people in here are working for local studios and stuff. Yeah, now but more than ever, we need to support the local studios. Right, it's a challenging time in the industry, so shout out to the Kinseeds and the Flaming Fowls and all the good friends that have gone on to do their own thing. So please look up some of these projects and give them your support, because it's really challenging at the moment. I should have shot the Guildmaster. You're totally right.
The boy mastered the skills quickly.
Yeah,
But there
really
was
good
always
point,
more to learn.
Dean. That like
For years,
Fable
the
was a
guild his
game
home,
that had,
his
for a team that had
and
never
his
done
life.
3D. I'm gonna read out
But as
exactly your
time
words:
passed,
combat,
His thoughts
player
returned
controlled,
always
and yeah,
to the
you
world
know,
outside. The
somehow
life he had lost.
it all came
The
together.
family that had been torn from him.
I remember, like,
At last,
Dean, you showed me
only
Wish
the
World, and
final
you were
day
telling
of
me
tests
you were thinking
remained.
about it in like 97,
Success
98,
would
and to
mark the
think
end
of,
of his training.
you know,
He would receive the guild seal,
working on a
and
game
be
for
free
that
to
length of
forge his
time,
own
and
destiny.
the focus, the
He would
tenacity, the
become a
belief
hero.
in, like, I can only imagine how often you were being questioned with the approach or the vision, or there's nothing else like this out there, and kicking chickens, we're not so sure, or really you're farting. And I remember, like, we felt that we were in competition with GTA, and let's be honest, this would have been GTA 3, I guess. And let's be honest, like GTA, if you're going to pick a competitor, you're getting in there with the big guns. And so I remember, like, the player customization, like GTA 3, there's pretty much nothing. Like, you're Tony, and from what I remember, like, there's no haircuts, there's no tattoos, there's no good evil, you can't fart. So we were like, you know what, like, that's what we're going to push. That is us. That's our identity. As my tether blocks out Maze's face.
Hit me if you can.
Yeah, shout out to the Sea of Thieves team. Yeah, great call out. It's great to hear how much fun you've had in Sea of Thieves. What else is in here? Yeah, the Fable mods. Yeah, had a great mod scene. I'll be honest. Like, I haven't been a part of the Fable mod scene in a while. Hold on. What am I meant to be doing here? Killing Maze? Remember, like, when we did the tattoo creator for Fable Lost Chapters. Oh yeah, and how's okay? So other anecdotes. Fable: The Lost Chapters for a while had MSN, so the old Messenger integration, and it was crazy, right? Because you could talk to your friend while playing Fable through Messenger, and then you could do /fart to your friend playing the game, and the game would then fart on their screen. So, like, let's be honest, super Lionhead, super Fable, no other game company in the world is going to do that, for better or for worse, I should probably say. And it ended up getting cut because the MSN team, Microsoft, found out about it, and they were like, whoa, we're not cool with you potentially exposing security challenges for us. Like, what does this mean? What if someone hacks the Fable Lost Chapters client? Do they get access to the back end of Messenger? So we actually had to strip every little part of it out. But I remember me and Chris Berry, like, testing the feature, and just silly fun. I mean, like, we were two 18-year-olds, and like, nothing else to do, right? I remember, actually, there was 1 week where Chris Berry and I did 131 hours work in 1 week, out of choice. Like, we were young, and it was the week before going gold, so it was like the final push, and we knew this was it, and we knew that we had to find as many bugs as possible, because, of course, back then you had no patches, no updates, no Hail Mary builds, like, it, and you had to go to the CD would be printed, right? So I remember Jeff Brutus holding up a Sony CD, incredible, like, and that made it onto IGN and everything else. It was like a Sony CD. So we did this crazy stint. I think on average it was like 19 hours a day or something. And HR called us into a room because they thought we'd lied. They were like, look, guys, come on, like, you gotta be honest with your timesheets, and we're not cool with this. And yeah, so we pretty much had Red Bulls. I think I showed HR, like, my sleeping bag, my toothbrush. I had a change of clothes. I literally didn't leave the office for that whole week. And I think, Dean, I remember you saying, like, we did the maths, and I earned more than you did that week, because as a tester we got paid by the hour, thanks to the test department for pushing for because we didn't get bonuses, so there was a real kind of like, look, these guys are pushing as well, we need to give them something. This hand clap animation was another funny thing, like they didn't used to touch hands for the longest period of time. Oh yeah, and the picture of the hero holding up the gold build CD was
It's time
so
for you to
I should say, like,
but you're
I wish
still
I was an
very
artist.
much part
Like,
of
I
the
have
guild.
this
On the map
fr-
table,
an,
you'll
ar-
find
an artist
details of
frustration
any
that I
quests
cannot
people
draw
of
for shit.
Albion wish
I
heroes to
can't.
perform.
I wish I could.
Turn off
And one day,
all your
I put together in my own time. I got a Photoshop license and stuff. Well, a questionable license, let's say, because that was Lionhead at the time. And I put like the CD above the player's hands and like holding it up to the sky and stuff. And bless Adam Sibic, he saw it and he was like, "Let me help you out with this one," because Adam Sibic is one of like the most talented artists I've ever worked with, and he actually made it into something remotely decent. So, and I think we did the same thing for the Lost Chapters as well, and maybe when the movies came out, we did something there as well. So. They're just funny, like such a good team, so passionate to helping each other out, and you know, little testers who have a have an idea and cannot execute on it, and just being generally nice people.
When you have enough experience to spend. Basic pack of supplies. It'll be
Let's have a
enough
look.
for a
What else is
while.
in here? Oh yeah, I can't fart yet. I don't think so.
For you to explore.
Speaking of questionable CD licenses, I remember when Microsoft bought us, and the IT team sent an email which is like, if you have anything questionable, put it this way, we had very legitimate copies of Windows overnight. It was really funny. You know, as a indie studio trying to ship Black and White 2, the movies, BC, and Fable. Can you imagine that? Like, can you imagine a company now, in this day and age, shipping 4 games, all completely different? One is a sim game that is YouTube before its time, and if someone just had noticed that, we'd all be billionaires. Then you've got Black and White 2, like a sequel to like one of the most successful PC games, arguably of all time. Then you've got Fable, obviously, which has gone on to become like the huge success that it did, and then BC, like a game I really would love to build or to play, or just someone to do it, because that game is a gem waiting to be built. Still got to build somewhere. Probably shouldn't say that. Oh yeah, and of course. So if I remember correctly, Fable 1. These quests could never be done. The whole design, and Dean, if you're still with us and you're not falling asleep yet, the whole premise behind this screen was to give players the idea that these quests have been taken by other heroes, and therefore that's why you as a player can't do them. And then when we released the game, and actually I think this just confused the shit out of players, they're like, why can't I take this? Where did the quest go? So when we did Fable Lost Chapters, it was a really natural starting point for these kind of quests, right? So I think, if I remember correctly, there's a minion camp quest. I think it's in Darkwood, or maybe it is in Witchwood, but I think it's Darkwood. So we kind of and the Snow Troll, if I remember again correctly, wasn't in Fable 1. So again, it was like, right, cool, let's put a Snow Troll into Fable Lost Chapters. So I don't know if it was the chicken before the egg, and Fable pun not intended, but yeah, certainly it made a really good starting point when we started talking about the quest for Fable Lost Chapters. And I'm really digging into my memory here. Like, this is this is tough. Oh yeah, and the crappy stealth meter. Look at that. 6 people are looking at me. 5 people are looking at me. Like, I don't think any other game has done that. And it's look, the squint. Oh, that is priceless. Like, 3 people are half looking at you. It's great. Like, it's such a silly way. That's a really nice comment from the Fable Fans Guild. Yeah, like I say, there was a lot of good eggs at Lionhead, and it's a real shame.
Remember, following the gold markers on your map
Did live a little longer, but I think, like any good oak tree, the acorns fall and they grow somewhere else, right? So I think you look at all the other games that the team or members of the team have been a part of. The tearaways, the dreams, the No Man's Skies. I mean, look, we got one of the most important people, or like obviously personally, but like there were some amazing people who worked on the Fable games, but very like Andrzej Zamoyski was an absolute mega talent, and to see him working on Final Fantasy VII, you know, just you think of things like that, and he started like me as a work experience kid, and now he's a game designer on. Let's just call it the best game of all time. Right? I've spoken. Don't care about the chat. I'll mute it. No further comments required. And like I say, I'll be playing Final Fantasy VII for the rest of the night. Although I must admit, like I'm really enjoying this. So it's bringing back a lot of good memories. And the voice acting. It's like few things can be terrible and utterly amazing in equal measure. Like it's just got this wonderful charm. Again, like it's just Lionhead and Big Blue Box. Like you just never get this. And again, it goes back to that for better or for worse. You know, you're never gonna get. It's like a meme generator before memes were even a thing. And you know what? I'm barely even like. It's all come back to me. Like I'm barely even looking at the game. I'm looking at the comments. I'm looking around at the hills and the detail and the picnic area. I could hear the guild master talking to me about food and health potions. And I think, hang on, I'm gonna have to check because I think we put a setting to turn him off. I think. Oh, you got the pies and the apples and stuff. Yeah, well. Oh, yeah, here they come. 3 almost identical characters. They all woke up one morning and went, yeah, let's put on the same shirt as Dave. Hey, Jim, yeah, put on the same shirt, mate. Oh, so good. Yeah, showing off the trophies. Again, like, what games can you do that? Look, I'm about to do a Cossack dance. God, the tone for Lost Chapters is highly questionable, huh? But wonderful. And again, I can't speak for you, Dean, but I would have loved to have gone back and done a prequel. Like, you know, the trouble is the Old Kingdom is such a. Sometimes when you do a prequel, you really have to be careful not to ruin the myth and the romance that players. Like when you read the lore and the backstory of a game like Fable, players have their own interpretation, and credit to the team at Bungie for when they did Halo Reach, because they executed on that superbly, and it really captured the book and the backstory. So yeah, you got to be super careful when you go back to that stuff. But what a rich world that we even could. Oh, and the haircut cards. Oh man, I forgot our beards. Yeah. You found a beard card. And you know what? What's funny in modern day games, you'd be like, "Yeah, what's the logic? What's the realism? Why would someone leave a card there? Why is there a haircut card?" And then you'd be like, "Oh yeah, maybe there was the local barber came for lunch at the picnic area. Okay, we need a note. Okay, right, let's get Carol to write the note." You know, Carol, can you write us a note? Yeah, we need like the picnic area. The barber went to the picnic area. Please, can you just give us something? It's funny. He became a hipster. Yeah. Let's have a look. What else is in here? Music changes. Yeah, the fight. Yep. Waski's musical sting was a leftover. Oh yeah, maybe that's true actually. FM20 is on PC Game Pass. Yeah, very true. Yep, cool. Stoked for the remake. I need to play Disco Elysium. I really need to play that. I'm glad it did really well at the BAFTAs. Definitely on my list. Cool. Yeah. I think I'm up to speed. All right, let's have a look at the settings, because I'm sure there was a setting to turn off the Guildmaster. There he is. Oh, we should have had more fun with it. It should have been like mute. We should have muted him. You know, we should have been a bit more self-aware and fably. Oh yeah, and something else I remember, I really wanted to change it at the last second. So this is really small and very much a detail thing, but you see how the minimap is at full opacity? I really wanted it to be this because I think it looks nicer and it just takes their edge off. And I think, if I remember correctly, the original Fable game was like that. It just, I don't know, I think it just sits better with the rest of the HUD. Oh, actually, no, it's completely broken the top left. Maybe that's why we didn't do it. Maybe someone grabbed me and went, yeah, nice idea, dude, but you've completely broken the top left corner. But yeah, speed runs. I'm trying to think of how quick I could speed run this. I think I got it down to about an hour 30. But then I look at the actual speedrun times, and there's no way I would have been that close. I mean, I did play this game every day for 18 months, and my job was to speedrun it. But I see the times by actual speedrunners, and I just can't believe I was that close. I wish I had a picture or something like that. And again, like little details, you know, just someone once decided, Dean, if you're in the comments, like, oh, speed rolls, yeah, of course, it's all about the roll. Who came up with the idea for the rotating statue? Look, if you actually look, it is rotating. And so many players probably miss this, but it's such a lovely idea. Right, let's open up to the chat. Shall I go to Bowerstone, or shall I go into Greatwood? What do you want me to do? What shall I do here? Oh, and I do like the HUD fading away. I got that bit. I don't know if anyone noticed, but if you go away and you just stand idle, it all just fades away. Just to have like a... Oh, it's meant to be. Maybe it broke. Or maybe I've ruined it by turning the opacity down. It was meant to all fade away. I think everything apart from the minimap. Alright, so Bowerstone, Indifferent Wood, Hack the Bush. Oh yeah, shit, the bush! Let's go and trim the bush. It's Fable after all. Oh yeah, and also, okay, also, who shall I help? The bully or the beggar? Are we feeling good or are we feeling evil today, chat?
Look at you! You smell like rotting rat corpses.
You smell like rotting rat corpses. Okay, so I'm helping the beggar. Alright, go on then. I saw the first one.
He really expects... Right.
Alright, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it. What I find funny, actually, hearing all these voices, I love the thought, Dean, that you and Mark found people who aren't putting on an accent. You found actual people who speak like this, for real, and you said to them, yep, just do your thing. Just speak normally. Oh, I didn't name myself Arseface. I promised on Twitter I would name myself Arseface, didn't I? But I'm going to do the... Get the key. In like this. Oh, it's just pure gameplay, right? Someone put a key in there. And I swear we changed this. I could have sworn it bothered me no end that in the original game these were bronze. Or maybe it did get changed, like, and I kept reopening the bug. So yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, when you get into the late stages of development, you basically play bug tennis with production. Production close stuff and you open it. And then production say, no, it's not. We're not fixing it. And you go, nah, it's shit. We're gonna fix it. And I think that was what I really liked about the Lionhead test department is it felt like we could get away with murder sometimes. So yeah, they were that for the longest time. Arseface, there you go. I can afford it. Here we go. All right, there you go. My Twitter promise has been fulfilled. And again, I really liked working with the team. I remember when we finished Fable 1, I think 95% of the gravestones in the world... Hey, where am I going? Okay, I think people said Bowerstone. Yeah, I'm definitely going to play card pairs, 100%. Like, I was thinking exactly the same thing. I freaking love card pairs. And I think it was Mike Ducker, actually. Shout out to Mike Ducker, legendary programmer in the Fable series for so many different reasons. We even hired him for Fable Anniversary. I remember like ringing him up and being like, Mike, please, we need some programming support. And maybe I should talk about the achievements. But Mike is responsible for this for executing this like amazing set of achievements. I was super happy with them because honestly, without him, the achievements list just wouldn't exist.
We have some rules round here that you need to know.
I've completely lost my sense of thought. I'm jumping around all over the place.
Peaceful town.
Oh yeah, gravestones. So
Confiscate your weapons
we had
for now.
95% of the gravestones that were empty. Well, they all said to whether one to read, and then there are a handful, of course, like for Peter and for Dean, and I think Mark had one himself and everything else. And I counted. I spent one late night at the beginning of Fable Lost Chapters counting all the gravestones in the world, and I took a note. I think I made a spreadsheet of like where every single gravestone in the whole world existed. And I went to Mark and I was like, look, there's enough gravestones for every single person in this team. Maybe we can just have some fun and give everyone a gravestone. And then yeah, like he was well up for it, and so was the rest of the team. And I think a lot of the team wrote each other's gravestones, and we just had a ton of fun. Mine's somewhere in the Northern Wastes. Maybe that's a joke, an in-joke that I'm a Northern Waste. But yeah, anyway, little game dev anecdotes like that. And again, I remember these crates, they never stacked on top of each other. The amount of times I had to log a bug that they were intersecting, or that the sim would pick it up and then put it down and it would be clipping, and like it's like, no, stop resolving it, this won't fix, like we're fixing this shit. Like it's terrible. And the sim for this game, I think it was largely Adam and his team. Like it's insane. Like and I know we dialed it right back for Fable 2 because we just saw that players weren't seeing the simulation, but man, like people, if I could free cam, I wish this was a debug build, because they get into bed, they pull the cover up, they get out of bed, they eat an apple. I love that he just dropped his box, he just literally dropped his crate to cheer for Maze. Oh, this game, it's super special to me. Honestly, it really is one of my favourite games of all time, and I feel like I can say that with minimal bias at least, because my role was a last-minute tester for the final months of development of the first game. And I felt so proud to be a part of this game, and I'd followed Project Ego. I remember like reading the official Xbox magazine every month. Like, oh, Project Ego's coming, and I can't wait. And when I applied for WorkX, I actually didn't. The night before, I remember saying to my mum, like, 'cause I was still living at home, I was like, Mum, I'm not going. There's no way. Like, again, it's just fraud. Like, you just think, I can't do it. I can't do it. I created to my mum. She like was like, you were going. Like, you were absolutely going to this studio, and you're gonna give it your best shot. And she drove me there, right? Because I was gonna get the train and stuff, and I think I was nervous about getting lost. And, yeah. And I remember my first day at Lionhead, I started doing the washing up. I noticed it in the kitchen. There was like a stack of like plates and mugs and cups and knives and shit, and I started washing up. And Claire Headley, who was like our head of HR, she came in. She's like, "What on earth are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just like, going to do the washing up, and then I'll put the kettle on." She's like, "Oh, if Robbo and Nath catch you doing this, you won't ever live it down for your whole career." Oh, hey Chris, great to see you. So yeah, so my first day at Lionhead was quite special, and I remember doing the washing up, and yeah, fun time.
Follow me!
Oh yeah, and the hero dolls, of course, the inspiration for Fable Heroes. Still got a dev build of that. Yeah, Fable Heroes didn't start off as dolls. I think that was John Eckersley's like genius of like. It was like weird magicians. I think it was. It was called Streets of Mage. Fable Heroes started. We had some fun with it, Streets of Mage, and then it became Fable 4 Play because it's a Lionhead game. And then when we were going to present to Phil Spencer, it was like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't present it to him as Fable 4 Play. And by the way, it was four the number. And yeah, we presented it as Fable Heroes.
Please, could you help us?
What else have we got going on in here? Yeah, so shout out to projectego.com. Yeah, 100% mentioned that in the credits. Yeah, Mike McCarthy. Yeah, again, like you talk about Fable legends, he is an absolute legend of the series. Yeah, Tofu. I guess you can thank Dean for Tofu being in this in this game. Yeah, great to see everyone. Like, please keep sharing your stories. It's really nice to read just the impact that the game has had on people. And again, hey, Chris Marlowe, for anyone who doesn't know, like the voice of the great mighty Pooh from Conker's Bad Fur Day and Sea of Thieves legend. Yeah, so yeah, good question, Matt. Yeah, so obviously I won't talk about Fail Heroes, but yeah, again, talk about talented people. Don Williamson, like that guy, his skills are incredible, and yeah, he did this great paint filter that John, correct me if I'm wrong if you're still on the chat, but like it was some of the inspiration for your some of your work that you've done for. I know it's something you've been trying to do for like your whole career, is do something like that, and yeah, it's great to see that kind of stuff. Okay, so I definitely can't afford my first house, but of course, again, I think if you ask anyone, the thing that I love about like a Fable game, and just to continue from what I was about to say, you could ask 100 people why they love Fable, and I swear you could get 100 answers. And I think that's one of the main challenges whenever we were making a Fable game, is just like, some people love the economy, or the sim, or the combat, or the creatures, or the story, or the characters, or the Albion, you know, Albion as a world, the music. Like it's just, there's so much, and it can be so hard, yeah, to find that tone. And just because I saw it and I noticed as we run past, Jim Vale, the art director for Fable Anniversary, notice how all of the tiles on the roof are all higgledy-piggledy, like no straight lines. Whereas the original game had tons of straight lines, not for performance and like trying to keep the geometry and the polys in check, right? So when we came back with Fable Anniversary, again, I'm such a fanboy. I was like, Jim, you can't, man, you can't. And he's like, look, Ted, look, just let's give it a quick go. And then he did it, and I was like, oh man, like that is amazing. Like we have to do that. So yeah, shout out to Jim. Like I trust you so much, and you brought so much to this this remaster in bringing the world to life in this high definition way. So yeah, it just goes to show you, like you can be a purist, and there are times where you just like, no, like not at all. And funnily enough, like something, I'm just running past so many things, that's why I'm just jumping all over the shop. But this guy is called Alvin because it's totally out of place for for a Fable game to have a guy called Alvin. But a good friend of mine, Alvin, I just said like, oh man, maybe I could put you in the game I'm working on, and Mark needed names. So I was like, what about Alvin? And then Alvin came in. So yeah, God, it's so off tone. I should never have been allowed to have named or to put forward names into a hat. But I think that's the thing about Fable, like it's got a tone that is inconsistent at times, but it's got a charm to it. So what I used to do when I was speedrunning is I would come in here, do a few like crazy high wages, and then go and buy the obsidian cutlass, which was fantastic. Then I would run to Darkwood, to the Earth Troll that needed a combat multiplier of 10, I think, and I'd quickly do the 10 hits, and then you get the what was the weapon called? It was like a green cutlass, key cutlass or something like that, and then basically you're invincible for the rest of the game. And then I would just use like the shield, I forget the name of it, and yeah, just speed run through from that point on. So it's funny how my personal speed runs, like no speedrunner in their right mind would do this, but I would start here with this. And again, I think Mike changed. Okay, so first of all, does anyone notice the bug? I'm just going to sit on this screen for like 10 seconds. Tell me what bug there is on this screen. Because I didn't have the heart to fix it. There is a glaringly obvious bug. I've just noticed it, and I'd completely forgotten about it.
I've got a headache.
I'm going to count you down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, right, so the coin has weighing scales on it, and they're upside down. For some reason, Fable is a game where there is so much stuff upside down. I never understand why. I feel like I should have asked Like earlier we saw that the scroll was upside down. Now we see that this is upside down. God, I swear to God, we kept logging bugs all the time. There's stuff upside down. The crossbow. Oh, I don't know if any of the old test team are in the chat. The crossbow spent 95% of the project upside down. You were always firing it upside down, and we were constantly logging bugs. So anyway, more boring anecdotes of the life as a tester. Oh, good. I'm off to a good start. This is going to be impossible for me to remember and talk about at the same time. This is one of the hardest things. Where was a 7? Is that a 7? That's a 3. Okay, the jack was here. If I do this, it will be unreal, because I cannot remember, for the life of me, how to talk and flip. Come on, this will be embarrassing. Come on. Yes, all of you. Okay, I won. That would have been very embarrassing. I feel like you know what, I could sit here all day and just try and get the hero doll, but I won't, because I think everyone would leave. What else can we do in here? Oh yeah, I could get drunk. Oh, look how drunk she is. I forgot. Sim could get... And you could get people drunk. Oh, I've got to get someone drunk, haven't I? God, it would be a crime if I played a Fable game and didn't get people drunk. Let's have a look. What's in here? Can I buy some beer? Beer! Beer! And I swear to God, so much of this game was built in a pub. Just going down the pub. I think we're at that age. It was just a lot easier just to just everyone going to the pub. Right, you know what? Let's get this dude drunk. Is it that? All right, here we go. Here we go. Right, he's sober for the moment. Go on. There you go. Look how happy he is. Oh. Oh, I got an achievement. Incredible. Brilliant. Again, I completely forgot that achievement exists, and the irony is I designed it. But yeah, funny. That's how long it's been. I cannot even remember what stuff we added to this game. Maybe I should talk about the achievements actually, because we had a lot of fun designing them. I remember Jenny, when we first started talking about them, I think I've said before in like an interview or something that like as a kid I collected stamps, which is never use that as a chat up line. It's not going to work. I'm almost certain of that. Or definitely not an opening line to a conversation. But there was just this Britishness about stamps, and again, like my own collection and achievements is all about collectibles and stuff like that. And then when I started thinking about it, like I'd never seen Gamerscore on the icon before, and then English stamps have like 20 pence, like you see 20p on a stamp. So it just felt like a really nice opportunity to link them together. And then, of course, like for it to be like a collectible, like you're putting the stamps on the pages and stuff, and the whole team bought into it, which is really cool. Like I loved working with Jenny, Craig, Mike, Jim, and the team. And then I thought it'd be really interesting. I remember chatting to Lewis Brundish, a good friend of mine, just about who also worked on Fable 2 and Fable 3, just about like how cool it would be. No, I remember the conversation. It really bothered me that we designed a game where you could miss a demon door. So just for anyone who knows, or who wants to know, or who cares, the demon doors achievement bothered the hell out of me, because I wanted an achievement. Where is it? It's here somewhere. Open says me middle finger. Right. I wanted an achievement that for opening all of them, right? It makes sense. But then I remembered that you can miss a demon door. So how do you make an achievement that doesn't piss off 95% of the people who will obviously miss that demon door? And I was so annoyed. I was just like, I try not to swear on stream, so I'll say F. I used the F word. I was like, F this. And then I was like, I want to do a middle finger expression to the demon door. So can we do an achievement which is open them all, or show a demon door what you think of it, because that's how I felt at that moment in time. And then like bouncing around with Lewis, it was like, oh man, we could do so much with this. And then we started thinking about like Project Ego, again a reference to the original game. What you're selling, like Resident Evil 4 is incredible. Hero of Time, like Ocarina of Time, one of my favourite games ever. Get Rich or Die Trying, like a funny 50 Cent reference. Definitely not on rails, obviously a Fable the Journey reference. I was there when Peter decided to write that on the wall. When he tried to get me to sign the wall at E3, it's like, not in a million years am I saying this game is not on rails, because it is it is an on rails shooter. It's House of the Dead. The drinking game, I don't know what I can't remember what the background was of that name. Marital relations, yeah. Beauty or the Beast, obviously a Disney reference, or at least an old story reference. Choosing My Religion, like a really bad REM reference. I don't even listen to REM, so I don't know where that came from. For Every Choice and Achievement, yeah, play on, obviously, for every choice a consequence. You're a wizard hero, yeah, like Harry Potter at the time. That's a Real Lunker, another Legend of Zelda reference. Fight Cluck, yeah, so again, that, boy, a bit of a stretch, that one. I'm sure if I spent more time on that, I would have come up with a better name. Alpha Robin, again, like another reference. Hashtag spoilers. I guess Twitter was super new and super popular at that time. Making tough decisions. Oh, these ones are all a bit crap. Okay, right, Dean, let's have a conversation. YMCA in Lost Chapters. What drugs or alcohol or late nights were involved in the thinking behind behind that one? Winter is Coming, of course. Game of Thrones. I bloody love Game of Thrones up until the last season. I'm sure, like most. And I think we were all watching season 1 or season 2 very heavily and reading the books. A Wild Jack Appears, Pokemon reference. Gladiator reference. Gladiator Ready. Family Friends, yeah, I don't think there's any really reference. Yeah, fishing a graveyard, yeah, go fishing and digging like it's a normal thing to do. And the worst part is I had to write these. Like, we didn't have Mark Hill at this point. I'm not a writer. I'll never pretend to be one. I'll definitely try. So the only thing I could think of was just to relate these to things that I liked. Like, there's always a Lighthouses. Like, I love Bioshock, and do you know what's funny is I remember Dean, when we were making Fable 2, was when Bioshock came out, and I think I was moving house, or maybe I had a crap TV at home, and I was playing it in the evenings at Lionhead. So we had a really good audio setup in one of the meeting rooms, and I just wasn't enjoying it, and I stopped playing. And I remember saying to Dean, like, oh man, like Bioshock, it just doesn't do it for me. And then I think you said something like, oh yeah, same thing for me. But then I went back to it, and now I think it's like one of the best things ever. I'm probably misquoting you, but I then went back to it and was like, this game is one of the best games I've ever played in my life. So yeah, anyway, there you go. A Bioshock reference that almost maybe never happened if I'd not listened to Dean. Under a Full Moon, Bloodline Part 1, Becoming a Man, Graduation, From the Smallest Acorn. Like, we had to obviously put Acorn references in this game. Thanks, Peter. Ultimate Warrior, like, I loved wrestling growing up, so yeah, like, put a wrestling reference in, why not? That's My Man. That's me and Chris Berry. That was the quote that got us through Fable 1 testing. That's my man, that's my man. Just like people shouting that at you all the time. I Am Legend, yeah, I mean, it's a stretch of a reference, but it made sense. Are You Not Entertained? So I think that is credited to the community. When we did that achievement competition and had like 3,000 submissions, I'm pretty certain that was the one. So huge thanks to the whole community who engaged and got involved in that achievement competition, because I remember saying to the marketing team had some concern, right? Because anything you do like public facing like that, there's always concerns. But what if it goes wrong? But what if there's a PR disaster? What if someone says something about a dog or something inappropriate about farting? It's like, yeah, we're making a Fable game. Like, no shit. What do you think is going to happen? And I remember we had 3,000 submissions, and Craig was like, "Who on earth is going to go through 3,000 submissions?" And like, we all looked at each other, and I was like, I guess it's me. So I remember, like, one Saturday and Sunday, I literally spent the whole weekend trawling through the forums, but I made sure I gave every single one of them the time of day. And yeah, honestly, I loved that community. It was an excellent community, especially for a game that's not online centric and single player and everything else. See the Future, reference to Teresa, but obviously connected to Smart Glass. Horde mode. I don't think Gary Simmons is in here or Cy Jakes, but Horde mode kept us sane. Shout out to the Gears of War team. We played that. I remember we would work like crazy hour days, like we're talking like 14, 15 hour days. We would all go home and we would play Gears of War Horde mode until like 2 a.m. And then we would just do repeat. And that's where the hob jockeys came from Fable Heroes. We used to call... Okay, I probably shouldn't say it. Anyway, we had a nickname for the guys, the riders in Gears. I can't even remember their name. And then hob jockeys, became a thing. Education was a Nation. Fable Heroes, yeah, of course. US Super Player, Super Mario World is one of my favourite games ever. Felt like a fun reference. Out of the frying pan into the fire. Quiet as a Whisper, Feed the Troll. Yeah, so that's basically never feed trolls, right? They'll halt you on social media. Swinging Sword, there you go. There's the reference that we needed. Combat Evolved, Halo, one of the best games of all time for me. Matrix, one of my favourite films. I did this for Achievo. Yeah, this was like trying to show the achievement community that I'm with you. I don't really engage in achievements now. I think someone needs to reinvent them. We tried to do it a bit here with the duality and stuff, but yeah, someone really needs to sit down and go, achievements were amazing. We've completely cocked them up, and they're nowhere near as good as they used to be. Have players changed? Do they need a refresh? Something new? Like I'd love to be a part of that discussion. Like they could definitely be improved. But yeah, this was just to show that we're with you, we're part of you, and we understand why you play. Assassin's Creed, as I mentioned, don't tell Eve or anyone at Ubisoft, it'll probably get me fired. And Hero Their Holders Low. It felt good to start with this one, right? It is so synonymous with the game. So yeah, anyway, quick run through of the achievements. They were a blast to work on. Huge thanks. Actually, when I left Lionhead, my way of thanks to the team. For anyone who doesn't know, Royal Mail will actually print you real stamps. So you can go to Royal Mail, which is obviously the very British postal service, give them an image, and if they approve the image, they'll print it as a real life stamp that can be used to actually send letters. So when I left Lionhead, I got everyone on my team some stamps, and I got a unique image. I can't remember who got the arse. Someone got the arse. It might have been Craig, but that was my parting gift to the team by way of thanks for everyone really believed in this remake, and I think we all felt the pressure because of the expectation. And I remember how happy we all felt when we saw we got like an 8 out of 10 in Edge. Sorry, not in Edge, in IGN. I think that was like one of the first reviews that came through. So yeah, that was super cool. Right, let me just jump back here real quick. YMCA seemed entirely in keeping with the general vibe of the game. Yeah, absolutely. I missed the forums too. The forums were great. It's a shame. They went down. Fusion Frenzy, man, that's the one. Remake. If anyone at Xbox is listening, let's remake Fusion Frenzy. Let's talk. I read about Fusion Frenzy the other day. They mentioned it in a Xbox backwards compatibility thing. I have to dig it out. But yeah, it was great to see it still. I love Omen so much. He is a 15 out of 10 human. Nah, for me he's a 2 out of 10. Yeah, he's a 2. A push. On a Friday down the pub, maybe a 3. No, I'm kidding. I love you, Craig. Honestly, I think he hated me by the end of this project. I think he really did. I think most people hate me at the end of a project, but it's all with good intentions. Let's have a look at the map. I'll probably play for like another 20 minutes if everyone's game. Maybe I'll do this again someday because it has been quite fun. I can see why people like doing this stuff. Oh yeah, and just thinking about the card game felt different. We changed the controls. I'm pretty certain in the original game it had like this free cursor and it was really hard to play, and I asked Mike if he could fix the cursor to each card. So yeah, again, just silly little things. Oh, there's a Sangoose. There it is, down the bottom. Because so again, if anyone remembers, the original Fable game didn't have Aurora. So it felt like we should age this map with the rose-tinted glasses and the extra info that players have aged with. So it's a bit fourth wall breaking, because it's not true to the original vision of the game, but it then felt like we could have some fun with the sand goose. It's basically an Easter egg. Like, you really have to scroll down, right, to get to it. But yeah, just some fun. And then again, speaking of fun, we wrote this in Fable language. If I remember correctly, the letters U and V are the same. So just to throw in that extra curveball in the Albion language. Players had to really think about, okay, what is it? And then, yeah, we put in the dragon and stuff like that, or the kraken and the serpent and stuff, just for a bit of, and some ships, yeah, just to give it all a bit of extra flavour. Right, let's go and head into Greatwood and see what's on offer. Man, there was so much freedom. Again, if you rewind to 2004, this game was just like such a breath of fresh air. For me personally, as someone who I don't particularly like super nerdy stuff. Oh, actually, whoa, rewind. I'm a massive nerd, but I know that there's a lot of people who really like Dragon Age and like these super serious games, but like they just don't do it for me. And I've tried, I really have, and again, credit to those teams. It's not. I'm not belittling their work. They're all making masterpieces, and they have a huge audience, and people love those games. But every time I've tried to play, it's just not for me. And then so when, as someone who that kind of stuff just doesn't really resonate with me. I've always been more of the Zeldas and the Final Fantasies and stuff that's not maybe of that kind of Dragon Age tone. I remember playing this. This is it. This is the game I've always wanted to play, and we all have our motivations as to why we play games, and this game just spoke to me in volumes. Maybe growing up in nearby, if you ever go to Godalming or Guildford and look at it, it's Albion. So maybe again it resonated with my childhood of always being stung by wasps, the irony. Yeah, just a great place to build a game. The fact that you could work somewhere and look out your window and see Albion, see the game you're creating, is a very special place to work. Yeah, so Witcher, a great question. So I've never played The Witcher, and the reason is, by the way, I actually think I'd like The Witcher. From everything I've heard, I think I'd like it. I think maybe it's a balance, because I've been watching Netflix series and it's good, but I didn't play it because I didn't want it to influence how I would think about Fable. I think when you're working in games, you have to be really careful to be inspired but not influenced. And I hope that makes sense. I think they're two very different things, because like I say, you can take inspiration from anywhere, Disney, Studio Ghibli, but then also you've got the Nintendos and games like The Witcher. So I always avoided it because I always felt like with Fable is a Fable game. Fable is not a Witcher. Fable is not Dark Souls. Fable is, but it could so easily be, in my mind anyway. People are welcome to disagree, but it could so easily be misinterpreted as one of those games. And for me, that's what it makes it special. Is it's not like The Witcher, and The Witcher is amazing in being The Witcher. Just like Final Fantasy is amazing in being Final Fantasy. There's nothing quite like it. So, yeah, influence and inspiration can be quite different. And what's funny is I've just run past this giant dome. You forget just the importance of this dome in the story. But there's no sign. There's no this monument was erected in in era blah. It's just oh yeah, there's a giant concrete slab. What else is in here? Yeah, the runes are great, right? I kind of want to know what it says, actually, funnily enough. Why have I never looked at this and wondered what it says? Yeah, I don't have a quest at the moment. I'm just kind of dicking around. Did you have a Fable alphabet? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that message on the world map is completely translatable. So yeah, I challenge you to go and find it. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I really am enjoying this. I hope the few of you that are watching are enjoying it as well. What else? Oh yeah, and of course, fond memories of translating the text. Yeah, thank you to the community for banding together and trying to yeah, work it out.
We could be friends if you like.
See, I don't have any of my Fable clothing with me at the moment. It's all in storage, and I don't know. I'd feel like a real douchebag, like walking around Ubisoft with like a "I worked on Fable" T-shirt. So I just don't wear them. But I do miss that grey Fable family hoodie. That was like the comfiest thing ever. Maybe I should pull it out of storage one day. But yeah, it was definitely like a period of life. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm just reading through the comments. Fable runes. Yes, I am. And again, like shout out. Okay, so I should do a few shout outs. So massive shout out to Insert Coin Clothing, because when we were going to E3 with this game, I really wanted something that was like Chicken Chaser or I Love Acorn, something like that. And we reached out to them. We did a deal with them. They built they made us the T-shirts. Jenny Brewer, I asked her if she could make the Lionhead logo. So take the style of like the side-on lion and do a chicken instead, and she did that. And man, we all had such a good relationship. It was such a good fun project to work on. So yeah, we did a T-shirt that says Chicken Chaser on it, and so imagine the Lionhead Studios logo, and underneath it, where it says Lionhead Studios, it says Chicken Chaser, and then the logo is a chicken, like a side-on chicken. So, yeah, just
private. It'll cost you to get
really good fun.
Or so.
Fable was this weird game, right? Oh, I just paid the toll by mistake. Okay, give me my money back. It was this weird game where like
Get out of our sight.
people just seem to do anything possible to make it happen. Like, I swear you could come up. Like, do you remember the Hob Disco I did, Dean? Like, so there's probably nothing more off tone than a Fable Hob Disco. And I remember Fable 3. Like, I don't know what came over me. I was trying to like make something replayable, and I grabbed Russell Shaw, and I was like, "Oh, do you reckon you could make like a dance beat?" I grabbed Eckersley and John Eckersley, I should use first name terms, and Rob Tatnall. I was like, guys, I was like, I want like a disco with the Hobbs, and they don't really know what's going on, they're just dancing, and maybe we can use like top hats for like, put some lights in it, it's going to make no sense, it's going to be a glitter ball, players are going to be like, what on earth is happening, it's going to be hilarious. And like, yeah, it just it just exists. There's just like this Easter egg of a Hob Disco. Oh yeah, another thing, like John. So I don't know if anyone who's ever data mined Fable 3, there are Hobbs dressed as the Master Chief. Has anyone ever seen that? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Just said it. And yeah, Bungie said no. Sadly, John, you should if you could ever dig out those files, I would love to be reminded of them, because that was really good fun. The whole what we were going to do was in Fable 3, when you go into the Hob Cave, there's a sequence where you can look over to the far side and there's like a small little cave. We wanted to have two Hobbs, one dressed in red, one dressed in blue, so like red versus blue, shooting at each other, and then they run off. So it was going to be a very fleeting Easter egg, but yeah, denied. You shall not have fun. No, we had a lot of fun with the Master Chief, the Fable 2 collectors, right, being the example of that. So you can't always get your way. Sometimes you have to say, yeah, no worries, we understand. But it would have been good fun. Oh yeah, the Albion leggings. Yeah, I remember me and Graham Boyd at Xbox. We challenged each other. Yeah, so another shout out, Special Effect. If anyone feels like donating to a really good cause in these challenging times for some good karma and some good positivity, like the Special Effect charity is very close to my heart, and yeah, look them up. And we did a 10k run wearing Albion leggings. It was very cold that day. Didn't leave much to the imagination, and that's as much as I'll say. So, yeah, so like do look up, if you've never heard of Special Effect, look it up, because they do fantastic work. And of course, two things always stood out to me when it comes to games. Like games are a way to make us all feel normalized, right? And I think the work that special effect do, and to give people an outlet and a creative space to go and play something and escape from the real world is super important. And then, of course, secondly to that, escaping from the world. Like, you know, it's a challenging time, and we all need a break from the real world, and what better place to do it than Albion. I really should have just taken the quest, shouldn't I? Because I'm basically doing the quest without it. But I loved this whole quest where the Balverine transforms. It's just amazing. It's you speak to people and they're like, oh yeah, I took that guy and then he transformed, and they became a Balverine, and then he killed me, and like, screw you guys for doing that to me. Yeah, really good fun. I mean, honestly, I think now you just see it coming from a mile off, but definitely it's fun for its time. And then shout out to George Backer, the voice of the Hobbs. Creature Hero Balverine. Do I know anything about Creature Hero Balverine? Do I know anything about Creature Hero? Maybe? Not sure. My memory is not what it used to be. Yeah, and definitely it was really fun to get all the way through without him transforming. I think that's the it's one of the nice things about video games is when you can create something where people have a slightly different story. So like the thought that some people can get through that mission and he doesn't change, and then someone else could play through that mission, and you're talking down the pub like, oh man, I'm playing through Fable at the moment, like, oh, I did that quest where they where the guy changed. They're like, what guy changed? And they're like, oh, you know, the guy you're escorting, you know, through the dark woods. No. Like it's just nice when you get those little moments in time where you can share different stuff. Yep, just going through the comments. Yeah, John. Yep, definitely stuff written in naughty runes in Fable 2. Lots of phallic hedgerows and stuff. Much needed resurrection file. It was, wasn't it? Actually, no. I used a health potion. I saw myself. I actually heard the guildmaster in my headphones saying, "Hero, your health is low." So I quickly healed before I was embarrassed and fell on my ass. What's in here? Leather boots. Yeah, of course. And again, like thinking of little anecdotes. I remember. So you can decapitate people, right? In Fable 1. I can't remember if you can in Fable 2 or 3. I don't think you can. I think it was only Fable 1. And I remember Kiernan, a good friend and a tester on Fable 1, logged a bug of, I can kick chicken, should be able to kick heads. And then that was the kind of freedom we had. It was so cool to be a tester at Lionhead. Just like, there are so many companies where that just wouldn't even be entertained remotely. So to be in that position where you could say like, hey look, you're letting me kick this thing, I should be able to kick this thing. And then for it to eventually be in the game. I think we all felt like designers. I think that was a nice part of it. And then when you see that, you just wanna be a game designer. And just personally speaking, I remember Peter telling me. So for anyone who doesn't know, just a small anecdote. Before Lionhead was purchased by Microsoft, we all had a one-to-one with Peter. I think it was like the consultation period, or it was some legal requirement or something like that. And I said to Peter, like I was like 20 years old, and I'm like, Peter, I really want to be a game designer on Fable 2. And he was like, to his credit, he was super firm, and he was like, Ted, you'll never be a game designer at Lionhead. You're too important in the test team.
Oh, hello.
And I remember feeling really hurt by that, and a little bit like, you know what, I'm going to prove you wrong. So I actually left for 18 months, and I went to work on Battalion Wars. So it was awesome for me because I loved Nintendo, and to work on a Nintendo game was incredible, and to be a designer on it. Again, the whole way through I just felt like a fraud because I'd never been a game designer before, but I learned so much. And then Louise rang me one day and said, would you like to come back to work on Fable 2? I was like, only if Peter calls and tells me about it. And yeah, anyway, typical Peter, he said he was testing me, and he was seeing if I had what it takes to be a designer at Lionhead. So yeah, sometimes I do reflect and think, what if I'd taken that advice differently and just said, oh, okay, never mind, and just gone back to work. You know? So yeah, don't let people crush your dreams is the story there. Ah, cool. Yes, this is all the DLC stuff. So, oh god, what was DLC versus what was in the original game? I have a feeling the guard hat. Actually, you know what? I can probably tell by how bad the writing is. Because if it was in Anniversary, I wrote it. If it was in the original game, it was written by a writer. Okay, this says the word pre-owned, so that's definitely me, because there's no writer with a degree who would ever use the term pre-owned. Sleep well, hero. Yeah. God, yeah, this is so me. God, I apologise to any writers reading this. Oh, although that said, that's in the original game, and that doesn't exactly fill you with excitement, does it? But yeah, anyway, writing's tough. I don't know if anyone's tried to write before, but Jesus. You can just sit there chuckling away at yourself at something you've written, and then someone else reads it, and they go, yeah, that's a bit shit. So I'll probably do... Maybe I'll do 20 more minutes because I'm enjoying this, and that would bring us to a nice round 2 hours. What's in the comments? Only the black guard hat was in the original, the blue and red DLC. Thank you very much. So I guess, yeah, we probably were inspired for the DLC by the black guard hat. Pretty Polly. Oh, God, don't. I completely forgot about Pretty Polly. Dean, how on earth did we get away with a bordello with Pretty Polly? That is crazy. Kicking someone's head off. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, all thanks to Keenan. There was some testing with a potion that turned the hero into a werewolf. Ah, okay, Dean will probably know better then. Yeah, honestly, I just don't remember that. Yeah, now she's just Polly. Yeah, completely. So where should I go? Should we go and see Maze? Let's see if he's still up in his quarters. Oh, I should have looked at some gravestones. So again, like speaking of lost chapters. When I was doing my gravestone pass with Mark, I noticed that I can't remember if these were all empty or they were all too weather-worn. I think these were all too weather-worn, and I said to Mark, like I say this as a player, not as someone working on the game. I was like, look how awesome these tombs are and these textures. Like, I want to know who these people are, and like. He was like, yeah, we should find some backstory and make something up. So, yeah, it's just funny. You can just see, and again, like I assume this is an empty tomb. I can't remember what we wrote for this. Yeah, there you go. This grave awaits a hero worthy of joining the legend. So I guess maybe a bit of a hint at either you or Thunder Whisper, something like that. And again, what are these? Yeah, there's the. Oh, is it clipping? Ah, it's not clipping. I remember those shoulder pads. Brought us a world of hurt, because I remember the amount of times we were logging bugs that every time the character lifted up his arms, the pauldron spikes went through the player's head. So, and if you change that animation then looks stupid with every other item of clothing. So I think in the end, your arms just clip through the clothing. I think that was the solution. Was like, screw it, we'll just let the clipping happen. They're penises? Hang on, whoa, what's a penis? Oh, Dean. Brilliant. Oh dear. Of course they are.
Remember.
Let's never change, huh? Let's make sure we keep that youthful spirit in these hard times. Right, up we go. Oh, okay, so I've missed Mace. He's I guess he's off being a traitor. But I loved okay. I have a feeling there's a Jack of Blades book here. So, going back to being able to log bugs that totally aren't bugs and actually request for stuff. If I remember correctly, I was playing through Fable 1 and the Jack of Blades book was somewhere else. I can't remember where it was. I think it was just in the Heroes Guild, but somewhere else. And I asked if it could be moved into Maze's room, because then it would be more of a hint, or just a little hint as to what might come later. I think that was it. Anyway, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was always the plan, and I'm just trying to take credit for something shit and unimportant. But I definitely remember logging a bug about this room and about Jack of Blades story. And there's something about this. I think this used to be see-through, and then we had to change it. because of performance, or the player could see out of the map or something like that, which is a real shame. And definitely there's not enough God Rays. Definitely not enough God Rays there. Cancel the number of shields. Thanks, Dean. What was the deal with making the Sword of Aeons weaker? Good question. Dean, you might be able to answer the Sword of Aeons question. I think it's just because we wanted there to be content after you get the Sword of Aeons, right? So if you get the Sword of Aeons and it kills everything in one hit, then your Lost Chapters content is limited. So the moment you add content after that sequence, you have to rebalance it and look at it through a different lens. So just try to think if there's anything else in here. Yeah, you find nothing interesting. It just really bothered me. It just really bothered me as a player. Like, you find nothing interesting. Like, you've just wasted 3 seconds of my life. And so many of my bugs were about that kind of stuff. Like, just trying to find like reasons to interact. Oh, we're going to the Chamber of Heroes? Heroes Guild. Why do I call it the Chamber of Heroes? Was that Fable 2's? Hang on. I feel like there's so many different names for this. Ah, okay, it doesn't show up on the map. Right. God, this is so cool. I remember like coming in here for the first time. Again as a tester, but you know, the first time I'm playing through the game. Yeah, like, wow. What stories are gonna unfurl in front of me? What am I gonna learn? And then yeah, you get all the paintings and stuff, and I love it when games do stuff like this, where I think we execute. Actually, I know Fable 3's lack of UI was sometimes contentious, but like I loved what we did with the Sanctuary, where like, I love things like this where your story is in world and it's being tracked and it's being shown. And like we tried to do the same with Road to Rule as well, and certainly in other games I've worked on, trying to really take how special this felt and to keep doing it, because this is something nice. You know, you could literally, like, imagine at the end of the game you can stand here and look at your whole story. You can literally do that and see your whole story. I think it's really special when you can do that. And there's no other medium, right? You can't. Films can't do that. Books can't do that. I think it's one of the things that makes us, or our industry, very special. Oh, nice. So there's actually a patch with more books. That's really cool to hear. So there's still a good mod scene, yeah? Oh yeah, the tour groups. Man, I forgot about the tour groups. And I guess the question, what's funny is people always talk about, you made the Sword of Aeons crap. But no one talks about we killed Teresa. Like, if we wanted to talk about like a narrative dissonance, it's probably that one. All right, let's go and protect Orchard Farm. All right, I'm gonna make this the last quest. Oh, I should have done the boast. We'll go and do a boast. It wouldn't be a playthrough of Fable without running around in my pants. Yeah, and then we'll call it a night, and we can all go and admire the masterpiece that is Final Fantasy VII. Also, what's funny is, or maybe not funny, I don't have any food in the house because I went to the supermarket today and the queue was insane. So there will be a takeaway on order tonight. Okay, so currently I have one villager who is cheering for me. I can do it naked. I can take no damage. Don't use weapons or any aggressive magic. Requires traditional controls. Oh yeah, we had to put in all these little extra things. Make sure no boxes or artifacts. Sure goes to the die. So right, let's go crazy. Here we go. Let's put a wager in. Are there any games that have done boasts? It's such a great system. Like, why did we never do this again? Like, again, you talk about achievements and how they could be modernized. Like, what about flipping achievements on their head? Like, give players the opportunity to boast about, like, you know, I'm a streamer now, right? I'm a content creator. Let me boast to my audience who's watching at home what I'm gonna do right now. Yeah, I'm gonna do this, and the audience, you know, you can imagine if you guys can engage and be like, oh, I'll wager you N Twitch currency or N blah. And you know, if you fail it, I don't know, the Twitch currency goes to charity or something like that. And if I succeed, then the Twitch currency comes to me. I'm sure if anyone spent more than the 10 seconds I've spent on it. There's probably something quite fun and different. Ah, of course, the this was in Fable 1, but didn't go anywhere, right? But in Fable 1, if I remember correctly, if you stand here and you dig, you can go through, because the digging animation takes a step backwards. Ah, that bug will haunt me that we missed that one. Right, cut through here. Oh yeah, the stoner. Oh, the magic mushroom guy. Oh, that is so Lionhead. That is, yeah, peak Lionhead. And all I'll say is, I remember inquiring when I joined Lionhead why all of the smoke alarms were taped up. And put it this way, at about 7 PM, I smelt why all of the the fire alarms. Okay, not all of them in the building, but just in a, say, above someone's desk, were taped up. So yeah, it was a different time, a different era. You wouldn't get that in modern day.
See you later, farm boy.
Was ever intended for the player to be able to do all the boasts? Yeah, they're good question from Dean. Like, yeah, they weren't ever really they weren't ever meant to be. Video game equivalent of Hold My Beer. Yep, absolutely. Oh, Nando's, a cheeky Nando's. So funnily enough, I was feeling quite homesick because of course I've genuinely not left the house in about 16 days or 15 days. So obviously I'm missing family and stuff because I'm so far away. And I got myself a Nando's and I felt instantly better and more at home. Started to fix the economy bug. Yep, the economy. You know what? There were no bugs in the economy. It was all perfect and fine-tuned, and we never intended to be a better sword. Yeah, cool. Oh yeah, Nando's today. Oh man, maybe I should get a Nando's tonight. Oh, 2 in a week. That might be too much. So there's just these little subliminal choices everywhere. That's what I loved about it. Like, look, there's a villager being attacked by a wasp. I can run straight past. I'm going to make the choice to save him. He's going to react. Oh, sorry, maybe not. There's one left.
Simple when you know how. Well,
love it.
the only good thing that can happen.
Nothing like it, right?
Yes.
And now I'm going to curse at him.
Well, what can I say?
And now I'm going to fart on him. Find me a better game. I'll wait. Yeah, very special. The skybox and the skybox in Witchwood. Let's talk about Witchwood. It's a shame I can't. This isn't a debug build, and I can't go to Witchwood. But man, that lollipop sky again. You took poor Jim. Like the shit he had to listen to when we were making the remake. I'm like, I remember we got a build, and honestly, the sky in Witchwood was awful. And this is Fable Anniversary, not the original game. I was like, Jim, where's the lollipop? He's like, what are you on about? I'm like, the rocket lolly sky. Like, where is it? Where's it gone? Like, I have no idea what you're on about. I'm like, look. He's like, oh, Jesus, bloody hell. So yeah, just things that, again, you go to things that people talk about them that's special to them in a Fable game. And I swear to God, that key, look at all the bugs. I swear it's meant that effect at the top is meant to be attached to the key. I swear the key has a broken blue highlight. It's probably bronze. I wish we had a DLC. I genuinely wish, Dean, we could go in a room right now, add a bridge to this, expand what's on the other side, tell a whole new story. Like, it's a shame that we don't live in a world where you could just, open an editor. Just, I always, as a player, like, why? Why is there a broken bridge? In fact, why was there a break? Yeah, look at that. We had some of the best minds in video games, and the only thing we could say was bridge down. And I think it's just because we had so much to do, right? There was just like a million lines of text, a million things to do, and there's this one ginger guy who just wants to know why the bridge is down. It's like, no! Imagination, let players imagine. Tell me, I need lore. There must be a reason. There must be a story. And again, I think it's just credit to the team. Like, there's so many of these little lore pieces and little bits of story and background and everything else. You come across a sign like that, and you just start demanding, where is it? I need to know. I've got to know, like, what happened? Oh, this is probably a dig spot, isn't it? But I don't have a spade. Look at that. That is a dig spot from 2004. I'm sure of it. Shout in the chat if I'm wrong. But that, if I had a spade, I would totally be digging there right now. Yes, Eve immediately improved that bridge, Dean. You can find a shiny twin blade underneath the boulder, yeah. Yeah, the whole thing was a panic. Yeah, I remember closing this game. But, you know, it is the imperfections that make it. Like, I think these days... Or maybe it's where there's the imperfection. Like, we strive so much for perfection, we forget that actually sometimes the charm can actually lie in the funny little anecdotes and the imperfection. It's alright, 5 more minutes. Because I need food, I need a beer, I need Final Fantasy. Thank you for sticking with me. This has been really good for my mental health, just for my own sanity. It's been a nice nostalgic reflection. I've really enjoyed this. Maybe I should do more of this stuff because I think, you know, sat at home, it's challenging, right? So I've got to protect the guards. I think my clothes will be taken off automatically. And stupidly, I said I'm going to do it without damage, and I didn't buy the spell. So I've barely leveled up. So I think I'm going to have to rely on my bow here. Keep them at bay. Okay, well, they're all melee. Go on, guards, do your thing. Oh, yeah, for honor. Yeah, brilliant. I remember that. For honor. Okay, nope. Nope. Is he dead? Yeah, right, cool. Can I pick these up? Oh, that would have been again, like, I think now if you were to do a modern day Fable version or a modern day quest, you would make it that the player could steal that stuff from the guards. You would totally make it that let the guards fight it out with these guys. Meanwhile, there's like a nearby. Let's go all out. We've added horses. We've added carriages. Oh no, shit. We've added carriages, so I'm sneakily putting that stuff on my horse and my cart. Oh, it'd just be incredible. It would be the best.
Do you have any potions or food?
And then they turn around, and of course I complete the quest because I've killed all the bandits, and then I ride out with all my stuff. That would just be the best. There was not a digging spot in the location. Ah, really?
Do you have any potions?
There's not a digging spot there. Wow. Okay, consider me. It just screamed level designer placement. You know, that a level designer is like put a little cove. There's a few leaves. It just feels like how a designer would approach that little corner. What else? Seen the tweet about 10 minutes after you posted. Physical shield spell, yep. Oh, does it really? It fails the no protection boost. I forgot.
Well, you're not the only one. I hope you've learned how to fight.
Cheers, Lee. Yeah, maybe one day I should play through Fable 2. Again, it's been a long time. It would have been great to have seen a remaster or a PC version. I think that's the nice thing about any remaster, right? It's an excuse. A weekly Fable stream. I don't think I could do that. I think it's a nice trip down memory lane, but yeah, if it becomes more than a trip down memory lane, it starts to consume you, I think. I think I'd miss Lionhead too much. It's supposed to be confusing a track. Sorry, Dean. Okay, so for anyone who's just joined, if you did want to join the chat and the stream, I did click some kind of setting or button that says it will save it out as a video. So if you did want to watch it back, I have again, this is my first time I've streamed personally on Twitch without someone else setting it up and making it some kind of marketing or community-based event. So yeah, there was a setting which said to save it. I clicked it. Maybe I clicked it right, maybe I clicked it wrong. Streaming stuff is hard. Shout out to anyone who's a streamer. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I'm just glad I'm not on webcam because
Damn, You beat me
Well,
again.
first of all, you'd see
I
a cat
suppose
asleep in
this
front of
quest
me,
is
a
yours
cat
then.
asleep next to me,
But you can't stay
a
lucky
very dark
forever,
room
farm boy.
where my face is only
We're
lit
bound
up
to
by
meet
the bright
again,
glow of the
and I'll
laptop
be
that's
ready.
showing me the comments.
You did it. I can't tell you how grateful we are.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much
Someone
for the
should
nice
have picked up
comments.
the
That's
boxes soon, so we shouldn't have any more
it's really
problems.
nice. Like I say, it's been very
That's why there's
therapeutic
been
for
so
me
much
as well.
fuss
So.
about those stones.
Oh, and the Great
I can't
British
see the back of them
Pants.
myself. Must be worth
There you
plenty of
go.
money to someone.
What a great way to wrap
I'll
up.
make sure to tell everyone about you.
Although I'm kind of
We need
disappointed we didn't
heroes
make
like you
the
around.
texture high res. It's a very low res texture. The clapping animations that don't actually have the hands touch. Yeah, so I'll probably leave it there. I'm now renowned enough to hear the sneer expression. Got a new trophy. Saved the farmer. Can I? Oh, look, unlock the real Lunker achievement. I could. Okay, I can't smash it down. Can't think of a better way. There was something behind here. Again, I think there's a grave later on. There's something to do with Lady Grey. Lady Grey, what an amazing character. Okay, so I'm going to do a wrap up. The thing I love most about Fable is even in this 2-hour period, I swear I can see every single person on the dev team and the impact every individual had. I can see like the names of people on the textures, on the writing, on the world, on the characters, on the weapons, on the story. Like it was such there was so much freedom for everyone on the team to have an input and an impact, and I think it had. Obviously, Lionhead had its flaws and its challenges, like any studio, but I think everyone felt like none of us really knew what we were doing, and that we're all out of our depth, and the only way to get through it is to just crack on. If it makes you laugh, put it in. if you know what, if it doesn't make you laugh, put it in, and just have fun with your work. Like, you know, kicking chickens. I'm sure that was just someone. You can imagine just the conversation. Someone's put chickens in. Someone goes, I want to kick them, and then the animator's like, yeah, we should kick them, and then before you know it, it becomes like synonymous with the franchise. Someone else, oh yeah, you should be able to fart. I want to fart. Yeah, do it. So I think I'd wrap up with a huge shout out to the whole team, everyone who worked on the original Fable, who set the tone and the expectation that we then had to build upon for Fable Lost Chapters, and then for Fable 2, and the Fable 2 just like delivering on the promise that Fable 1 had, and tearing down the barriers of the world and really opening it up, and like a fantastic story, fantastic characters. And then credit to obviously everyone who worked on Fable 3, because the challenge with Fable 3 was we built it in such a short period of time, and we built it in 18 months ish. Honestly, I think it might have even been a year. We had such aggressive deadlines with that game, and it's the only time in my career where I really wish we had extra 6 months. Like, I think every game you wish you had an extra 6 months, but Fable 3, if it had that extra 6 months, I really believe it could have been regarded as a masterpiece, to be a true sequel to Fable 2. I think a lot of people still like it, which is great, and I've met people who have said that it's their favourite Fable, which is awesome. But I don't know, it just needed that little bit longer in the oven just before we pulled it out. But yeah, cool. Thanks everyone. This has been awesome, and I love you all in so many different ways. And now the awkward part is I've got to work out how to stop the stream and not have an extra ending, now that I've said that.